Hello, I've got a new team for you today. It's a bit of an experiment, and I've got to admit it's at least part troll here as well. We've got a team involving Munchlax and Snorlax, basically the little brother and the big brother of the Great League. Um, they're both normal types. They both have Lick and Body Slam. On Snorlax we have Superpower, which gives it coverage against Steel, and on Munchlax we've got slightly unusually Gunk Shot. Normally you'd go with Bulldoze, but because what we're doing here is using Munchlax as our safe swap, and because Bulldoze is an expensive move, I decided to go for Gunk Shot instead. Because the problem is, if you switch in Munchlax onto a Steel type, they will expect the Ground type move, and they will shield it accordingly. And as a safe swap, shields are up. There's every advantage for them to shield that. But with something like an Azumarill, they might not shield it because they can soak a Bulldoze, they can soak a Body Slam. So the Gunk Shot can sometimes catch them unawares. That's why we're doing it with this team. The purpose of Skarmory is again to be on the lead. We switch aggressively out of Skarmory because Skarmory is our anti-fighting. It's there to take out all the fighting types we run into, such as Medicham, such as Machamp, that are really the biggest threats to this team. But in the grand scheme of things, actually, even fighting types aren't too bad for Munchlax or Snorlax, because the Body Slam damage and the Lick damage is neutral, and it does add up quite quickly because they're just that sturdy. So I've got 5 matches for you today. Keep the sets a bit shorter, and off we go. So first up, PTAP84. We're going to be leading our Skarmory, and they're going to be bringing a Marowak. This isn't a great matchup for us, but it's not too bad because the fire damage to Skarmory just mostly gives us an excuse to switch out. We switch out to Snorlax and a Whimsicott. Now, I've not seen one of those before. Looks Grass Fairy, so I'm going to take a guess that with Charm it's going to have a Grass charge move. Maybe Fairy charge move too. I don't actually honestly know what it's got for coverage. I should probably go look. Doesn't matter too much because Snorlax does the Lick and the Body Slam thing and takes a chunk off. I think we can take this down and maybe get another Body Slam. No, not quite. We've got its health quite low though, and we've got Skarmory, which resists charm damage. So that's good for us. We're going to hazard a guess that, there we go, Grass move, double resisted, so it doesn't really bother us, and nibble it away and get some energy lead. The Marowak comes back in, and we can drop the Sky Attack on it. Sky Attack is, of course, not resisted, so it will do quite a lot of damage to it. Up comes the shield though. And out comes Munchlax again. With the ghost damage, it'll do a useful amount to the ghost of the Alolan Marowak, and the Shadow Ball we just caught, well, just didn't do anything at all. Now we've got an Azumarill, but with no shields, so we're just going to go for that Gunk Shot and just try and throw a trash can at it, because just big and clever. And there we go. Off goes the Gunk Shot. Maybe they're expecting Bulldoze at this point, maybe they're a Body Slam, but look at that. Goodbye, Blue Egg. We can shield this one and save a bit of energy. That gives us a bit more endurance for when the Marowak comes in. Our moves are resisted by it, but the Lick damage will be quite enough on its own, and dropping a Gunk Shot on it will do quite a lot of damage anyway. It's 130 base. Even when resisted, Alolan Marowak is still quite squishy, so this should do a quite useful chunk. And there we go. Maybe the Body Slams would have been better, but they'd be double resisted, so it's a bit of a trade-off, and it didn't matter. Next up, we have Monster 50/50. We're going to bring out our team, and there we go. Skarmory into a Toxicroak. Well, that's a good start for us. The counter damage is neutral, but we resist the charge moves. The electric damage with the Stunfisk, on the other hand, that's a bit more of a problem. So out comes the Snorlax. We're going to look to just Body Slam it. Probably charge up to 2 moves, trading neutral damage, but just relying on the fact that Snorlax just has so much bulk behind it that we can just soak Mud Bombs. And I think we might get to a second Body Slam without... it's going to get close, but there we go. Down into the red on the Mud Bomb, but the Body Slam goes off. There we go. So 2 Body Slams back to back. That should hopefully be enough to either draw a shield or knock them down a long way. We can't really bring Skarmory back in onto it though, but they switch out. And a Honchkrow. Now, I've not seen a Honchkrow in the Great League for a while, They do a lot of damage with the Sky Attack and Brave Bird charging up with Snarls, but they're super fragile. So any move landing will do a lot of damage to it. So that's where their shields are going to be going. Their shields are now gone, so I mean we're going to shield this because this is going to hurt. It's a Sky Attack, probably takes half health. Body Slam in return though, I mean Body Slam's not the most powerful move out there, 35 energy, but look at that, it takes a massive chunk off. And even though it's dark, we might actually be able to lick that down and finish it off with a lick attack, despite our moves being resisted. It's just that fragile. And as you can see, the Sky Attack did a huge amount of damage in return. We'll drop a Body Slam on the Toxicroak, but that means we can get the Skarmory back on it. That's good for us too. And again, whilst the counter damage is neutral, Skarmory resists, so they switch out again. Into that electric damage, it's such a nuisance. It's one of the two things that Skarmory is vulnerable to, electric and fire. And we're just going to go for Sky Attack here, finish the job. It's going to be resisted, but that health is quite low, so there we go. Not quite enough. We're going to take another discharge, but we might be able to farm it down and gain some energy lead. And hopefully this will be enough to finish off the Toxicroak, but no, not quite. It had a move loaded, and whilst we double resist its moves, it's not going to make any difference. Next up, Skarmory Lead. We're going into Azumarill. Azumarill Skarmory match is fairly neutral. Skarmory wins at no shields and 2 shields, but in the 1 shield it loses. So basically you'd have to commit to shielding or charge up and swap out, like I was doing here. Swapped into Snorlax this time because I was actually half expecting to switch out the Azumarill, and they do, which is great because now we've got Superpower ready to go against their Steel type, which is perfect for us. Rock Slide does a appreciable amount of damage. We're going to go for double Superpowers back to back. If they don't shield, this will take off a massive chunk, but up comes the shield. And then another Superpower. Now we've debuffed ourselves a little bit, so you'll see the damage this does. There we go, not quite as much. In fact, it's not very impressive at all. Super effective move, but Snorlax just doesn't have very much attack. Part of the reason it's so bulky and sturdy. But we're going to let the Rock Slide land. We're going to bring out Munchlax for round 2. And Munchlax doesn't have a super effective move, but they don't know that. At least I'm hoping they don't know that. So I'm going to lick them and then try and bait them with a Body Slam and hope they're going to shield it as if it was a Bulldoze. Either that, or actually their health is probably low enough that... Ooh, quite close, quite close. We're going to take some damage, but that's okay. We've got some energy in the hand, and we can finish them off with Lick. Build up a bit of an energy lead. And are they going to bring back in the Azumarill? I'm going to hope they are, because I've got a trash can waiting for them. Now, they've got a shield ready. We're going to shield them, and we're going to build up to that gunk shot and see if they want to take the bait. This is going to finish them off if it lands, and again, they might not know it's coming. And there we go, 1 shot. And a Meganium, oh my goodness. So that's also vulnerable to gunk shot. Don't really have the energy for it, so we're going to just Body Slam them instead. But wouldn't it be so amazing? Doesn't matter in the end, because we've got a Skarmory, and, well, there's not much I can do about that. One of the things that really does destroy Meganium is it can't do much at all against flying types, particularly not Skarmory, which resists its moves. So, it's a good game. Next up, Hypno, Skarmory. A reasonable matchup here. Depends a lot on what moves the Hypno has. All too often it has Electric Punch or Thunder Punch or Fire Punch, which do super effective to Skarmory. So we're going to switch out into the Snorlax after charging up. And we'll see which kind of punch it's got. It's got a Thunder Punch. So it's possibly Thunder Punch and Fire Punch, maybe Ice Punch. Scrafty. Haven't seen Scrafty in a while. Hopefully we can land a superpower on that because it's an oddity as a fighting type that's vulnerable to fighting. That dark type means it takes increased damage from fighting damage incoming. But it does hit quite hard against my Snorlax. Oh, look at that. Yeah, okay, so that's made a mess of it. We can bring the Skarmory in and nibble it down a bit. This might be an Acid Spray or a Foul Play. Or a Power Up Punch. Power Up Punch makes great bait. And I've got 2 shields, so it's quite a good call on their part to try and bait the shield out. I didn't take it, and we finish off the Scrafty, and it didn't do too much damage. and we've almost built up to a double Brave Bird. So we're going to go with Sky Attacks here because the shields are still in play, and we're going to hope to chisel away at those shields and maybe get the health down on this. Now, tapped on the Brave Bird, but didn't quite get there. They got their charge move off first, and it looks like it didn't register, so I'm going to build up to a second Sky Attack, go for 3, or just for fun, and get that to land. They shield that one as well, so we're going to go for the Brave Bird just to finish the job. Now, this does a lot of damage. There's 130 plus the stab bonus, but I mean, Umbreon is just so sturdy that even then it didn't take off that much. But it has had the beneficial effect of dropping our defense a bit, meaning they can't farm us down so easily. Now, that's perhaps not a good place for me to shield, but it does mean they're throwing the rest of their energy at us to take us down. So, I mean, that's okay. Probably wasn't the best place to shield, but Munchlax should be able to get the Body Slam off, finish off Umbreon. The Lick won't be doing too much damage because of the Dark typing. And what they've got next is, of course, the Hypno, which is vulnerable to the Lick damage. It's only got its punches. It might have a Shadow Ball, but that's even worse against the normal type. So I think we've got this in the bag. We've got neutral damage from the Body Slam. Hypno is quite tanky though, so one Body Slam won't quite finish the job. But we should be able to lick it down from here, and there we go. Lick the Hypno to death. And a guy called Top Snorlax. Now, could this be any better? Are they expecting to see a Snorlax? I don't know. I think it's appropriate though. So, Shiftry. Shiftry's a bit of a nuisance. It's a quite spammy thing. In comes the Azumarill. This time, because they switched in the Azumarill, we bring in the Munchlax. And we're going to go for this brazen attempt of just throw the trash can at it straight away. They've Hydro Pumped us through double shields, so we're just going to return the favour and gunk shot them back. Neither of us going to shield the charge moves, the nuke moves we're throwing at each other, but mine hurts more, so thank you very much. I'm sure that player was kicking himself at that point, because with 2 shields, getting hit by a super effective nuke is just a disaster. In comes the Shiftry. Shiftry's a real threat here, but it's quite fragile, and I've got a move loaded, so they've pretty much got to shield this. Oh, okay, no, but that's taking a big chunk off them. Looks like they're farming up energy. I'm going to get hit by a couple of back-to-back moves, so I bring in the Skarmory at this point, hoping that it's just going to soak. I mean, I've got the shield still. I'm forced to double shield because those foul plays will take off a lot of my health. But because it's a grass type and I have flying damage, I can farm it down, get the energy lead back. And Zapdos. Now this is bad news for both of my team. This does such a lot of damage very fast. And I've got no shields left. It's got 2. So that's trouble. And look at that. Drill Peck does 44% to a Snorlax. And that just hurts. And they're going to be forced into shielding Body Slam because it's very frail. But they've got another Drill Peck. This thing charges so fast. And has it just taken down my Snorlax in that quickly? But my last thing was to get to 2 Sky Attacks on Skarmory. I really need to do that before it hits me with a Thunderbolt. But I think with my 40 energy moves versus their 55 energy moves, I got there first. And that was just about enough for them to not be able to nuke me. But I think they were probably only a move or 2 away from that. So, there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed those. A bit shorter, a bit more fun. This team I think has got some potential. And I'll probably play around with it a bit more for the next couple of days whilst the end of Great League comes in. I don't know if it will stick as a favourite, but I have to say, throwing trash cans at Azumarill just never gets old. Thank you very much.